It's time for a workshop tour. So I've got 100 square feet here. It's a hobbyist's workshop. It includes all the hobbies that I partake in: woodworking, hat making, millinery, model making, painting, leather craft. I've went headfirst into the rabbit hole lately and am totally absorbed in perfumery. It's so cool, intoxicating. You really need to try perfumery. So, as I mentioned, it's 100 square feet. Full disclosure, I do have my table saw and my miter saw in the garage, only because it makes, well, A, because I don't have the space, and B, because the miter saw, I used to have it in here, just makes so much dust, right? So I can't have that in the house. And I do use a sewing machine every once in a while, and I've got that upstairs in the spare bedroom. So, other than those items, this is where everything is. Let's start on this wall, and we'll work our way around. The left side of the picture that you're seeing is dark, but it really isn't. It's just that the other part of the workshop is just so bright. So I'm going to start top to bottom. I've got 9-foot ceilings, and they are packed ceiling to floor. So let us try not to say too much. And we'll start like that. All right. Before we get going, a lot of these tools that I have made videos on how I actually made the tools, and as opposed to saying the link's up here, click on the link for the video, I don't want you clicking on a link and leaving this video, so I'll leave links to those videos at the bottom in the description. Left to right, we have a hot wire foam cutter. Videos down at the bottom. We have a book press, that's for gilding the edges of the book or getting the edges of the book nice and fine and straight. I've got a tool chest here. This was my mom's. It was her sewing tool chest. I have repurposed it. It is now my leathercraft tool chest. It holds most of my leathercraft hand tools and carving tools and knives and so on and so forth. Stitching pony for leathercraft. Videos down below. This is a good build. If you're into leathercraft, watch this video. You'll enjoy that. I've got a couple of torches here and this. I'll mention later, maybe. I've almost made a copy of this tool chest here. Videos down below. It is for my bookmaking. All my bookmaking tools are included in this tool chest. I've got a book press for bookmaking beside it, and going down, I have my 3D printer, and I do have it covered just for the dust, to prevent dust from getting on it. And down below the 3D printer, I have my toolbox with plumbing. I have some camera accessories, shoe shine box, and then in those 2 plastic containers, I have scrap leather and a bunch of paper for bookmaking. Let's move over to the right here. This is the interesting section. Let's do this. Why don't we do this? All right. Let's do this. I know it doesn't seem straight, but it is a straight table. It's just the angle of the camera. I mentioned that I have absorbed in perfumery. I keep all my aroma chemicals here. They are diluted with ethanol at 10%. I think I'm up to 200 aroma chemicals. Really interesting how perfume is made. I'm going to make some videos on perfumery. Even if you're not into it, watch the videos. They're very interesting. So I've got my aroma chemicals here that are diluted. I've got the concentrates here, away from the light. Underneath, I do have some more perfumery items here, just a few drawers here. I have my samples here that I'm making. I'm learning. I just started a few months ago. A lot to learn. You have to train your nose. It's weird. It's cool. And And then this was a workbench. This was a cart that held my miter saw. When I moved the miter saw out to the garage, I had a hammer drill, which is over there now, and I attached a sanding disc, a buffing wheel, and a grinding wheel to it, and this became my station for grinding, sanding, buffing. Move that away, this has become a workstation for finer, smaller projects that require more detail. My jewelry work, electronics, and now my perfumery. I have a nice clean hardboard here. I'll take that off just to work if I'm working on jewelry or some electronics. I have a video on how I made this carousel for my rotary tool bits over here. On this side, I have another pole. It's an all thread, 5/16 all thread. Maybe it's 2 feet long. And I've attached a couple discs here. This is for my jewelry pliers, and this is some scent strips for the perfumery. On the workbench, I have small little cubbies that I created. You know, my small files go there, some tweezers, small screwdrivers, solder, pipettes. I have a power source here for electronics, small little mini torch, crock pot down here for pickling. When you're soldering the jewelry, you throw it into the pickle to get rid of all the oxidation. My soldering iron and some other items here. I have my files to the left, oxygen propane torch, and taken from Adam Savage, I have a little shelf built here for my 18 hammers. I did build this rawhide mallet, which I have a link below. Hopefully I won't forget all the links. And underneath here, well, let me show you this. I have a couple drawers that I built into this section. This is all my jewelry odds and ends. And beside it, I have just a bunch of, hopefully you won't spill, electronics. I have some plugs, some potentiometers, switches, my resistors are here, sorry. Moving into the corner, I recently built this cabinet. The link is below. I have cat's paw up top, if you're a Game of Thrones fan. It is just thin plastic. I really built it just to keep some labware. I'm doing some distillation recently. So I keep my distillation, some labware, chemistry set, appliances, glassware there. Just, again, eliminate dust. Underneath I have these stands for the chemistry or the labware. I built these. It's really just, I built a little square out of foam core, filled it with cement, quick dry cement, and then poured some resin on top just to have it nice and flat and smooth. So I don't have a video for that. I built these little shelves here. Again, everything's fast and quick. Okay. Chip brushes, spoons, acid brushes. The next drawer is just hands-on sandpaper, small little pieces. I have a big box of the bigger sheets of sandpaper back there. Cotton swabs. And some sticks. Popsicle sticks, skewers, tongue depressors, coffee stirrers. Metal smithing supplies, scrap metal, scrap plastics. I have my X-Acto blades, my knives here. I'll pick that up later. Some notepads here, wires for electronics, and so on and so forth. Let's go on this side of the wall. And before I go to the workbench, underneath the workbench, let me just show you that I do have heat gun, a couple of hot glue guns, and a hair dryer. Underneath I have my shop vac air compressor, and house painting or home painting supplies, brushes, rollers, and a bunch of paints. I did forget to mention this over here. So we're coming back again, sorry. Up top, beside the cabinet, so I'm all over the place. So before we go to the corner, I wanted to show you this. Up here, wax, hobbywood, calligraphy, fashion, resin. I do that with my daughter. I just have we have UV resin. We pour into molds, just make some fashion jewelry with her. Millinery, hat making, LED, a box of LED strip lights. I have perfume supplies, aromatherapy, jewelry wires for jewelry wrapping. I have 4 drills underneath, a rivet. What do you call the rivet tool? And this was my shop vac station. I really used it for the miter saw, but since that's gone to the garage, there isn't as much dust in the workshop as there used to be. So the cyclone that I built here isn't used. Cyclone is down below, down here, if you can see it. I built that using 2, 5-gallon buckets. Search online on YouTube how to make a DIY cyclone. There's a really good video out there. I don't know the guy's name, but you'll find it. Okay, now we can go to the front of the workshop, the bench at the top here. You'll see it 9 feet, odds and ends. But let's just go down here. I guess we'll start in the cabinet above. It's an old kitchen cabinet. I don't know if I was with the house when we bought the house. I don't know. It's just scrap. So I repurposed it. Down here are just everyday supplies, some isopropyl alcohol, acetone, some distilled water, WD-40, some lubricants. Over here we have all my adhesives, polishing, leather, fabric materials, paint materials, paint thinners, brush cleaners, some paints, my oil paints. Above, gold leaf, electronic supplies, transistors, capacitors, and we got some waxes up on top and some stains for wood repair or furniture repair. Over to the right, clay and clay tools. Down on the workbench, you'll see a bunch of cubbies. There is a video on how I made these cubbies. A lot of these cubbies are hobbies onto themselves. For instance, we have lock picking. We have wax seals, the seals that they used on the back of envelopes. So what we're going to do is carve some seals using the carving materials and try to make some wax seals. I bought some wax here that they use, and I do have little bowl here. Anyway, this was a seal that I purchased just online. Letter D. But anyways, you get the gist. Springs, nitrile gloves, rivets, hinges. We have the airbrush and the airbrush materials, hose clamps, cotton balls, rubber washers, glasses repair, wall plugs, 3D printer, rubber repair, hot glue sticks, punches, Allen wrenches, bearings, blades for my knives. This is the audio video, my microphone. Up here, we have fans, motors. I got lots of motors, Velcro, and knobs, just a bunch of knobs. Up top here, 2 rows of acrylic paints. I think I've got 80 some odd acrylic paints in different colors. And just, pencils, pens, knives, scissors, and some paintbrushes up on top here. That's the workbench. To the right side, the right corner, let's move over here. All right. Pegboard, measuring tools, rulers, speed squares, L squares. I have an antique hand drill, which I purchased recently. Don't know how old it is, but it looks really cool. I've used it. It works. It actually works. Screwdriver back here, pliers here. I printed these little drawers. They just small little items. First aid. Make sure you have a first aid drawer in your workshop. Furniture repair, stamp carving as I showed. Hooks, phone repair, watch repair, scrapers. Anyways, you get the gist. Let's move over to this wall. And I'm going to work from bottom up. Again, the workshop is 9 feet wide and about 10 feet in length. Plus a little cubby back there, so we're looking at about 100 square feet inside. These chest of drawers were my grandparents in their bedroom up until I was in grade 6. I was like 11 years old, so it's old. It's solid wood. There's no particle board. There's no veneering included in this. But anyways, drill bits, screwdriver bits, batteries, home brewing. I'm going to be making some videos on alcohol, making alcohol, some mead, clamps. And if you can see down here, are you going to be able to see? Yeah. How anal I am about my wood screws. Those are all my wood screws. Labeled and bottles. Miscellaneous junk, electrical and automotive. Just some automotive supplies. Moving on up. All right. Sockets, tool accessories, brackets, some nails, clamps, dogs, hold down clamps, nuts and bolts here, nicely arranged. Consumer grade drill press. Hindsight, I wish I purchased a higher quality used drill press as opposed to a brand new Ryobi, but live and learn. I've got some cedar here. And I'm not getting rid of this pulp. I'm going to distill it. See if I can extract the oils, the essential oils from cedar. So that's why it's kind of dirty here. This box came to Canada with my parents. They came to Canada in 1964. We remove the sharpening supplies. You can see, I don't know if you can see, right here, but that's the address that it was shipped to. 102 Tyndale Avenue, that's in the High Park region of Toronto. So my parents, when they first came to Canada, stayed with some friends that lived there. I went online recently, actually, and it seems like it's a new building, a new apartment that got built. Anyways, chisels, hand plane, jigsaw, electric stapler. You can see my favorite hand tool, battery operated brad nailer, multi-tool, brad nails, some staples, multi-tool, blades. Masonry tools, hand tools. Right here is wall repair, drywall repair. My son likes to put holes in the walls in his bedroom. So that's what I'm currently working on. Battery operated circular saw, which is really nice. I have basically Milwaukee and DeWalt tools, but now I'm getting Ryobi also, so I don't know, because if you look over here, you know what, let me close this door. If you look over here in this corner, you'll see that I've got a Ryobi sander. Anyways, 3 sanders, hammer drill, angle grinder, reciprocating saw. I got a router underneath. I got box of sandpaper, nicely organized. Some sand casting supplies down underneath. And at the bottom I have my father's old circular saw, which is probably from the 60s. So that's probably 50, 60 years old in itself. I keep my tapes up here. Wait. It's better. I keep my tapes here. I've tried different storage methods. I've tried many storage methods for my tapes. I just prefer them all on the shelf. Up top, stuff. I have stuff up top. Back straps, felt, plastic hooks, string, wires, zip ties, chains. I don't know, bike parts, appliance parts. On this wall, you'll see here, is the consumer grade bandsaw, which is all I really need. Not sawing down logs. I did get a 1/2-inch blade. It was a 1/4-inch blade. 1/2-inch blade, guys. If you have a bandsaw, get a 1/2-inch blade. Wonders. It'll keep your cuts nice and straight. I think I paid $60 for this. It's a Mastercraft. It's from Canadian Tire in Toronto. So once I got this, I just moved the miter saw out to the garage because I had no more need for the miter saw. This just does the quick cuts. Here's my buffing wheel / disc sander / little baby angle grinder. I've got a hose hooked up here, which will be attached to the shop vac, which will catch all the dust. Couple things left here. Up on the ceiling, I've attached some brackets. I just keep rolled up papers, rolled up leather over there. Here I keep cardboard, foam core, pink insulation. It's a lot of styrofoam attached to the ceiling. And lastly, down here, it's a little cubby area. I've just got a shelf built into the wall here. On the shelf, I just have some projects that I have on the go that I never finish. My first attempt at a bust. It's made out of clay. The Armenian goddess Anahit. It's been going on for, I don't know how long. I'll kind of get the urge to start working on it. I'll work on it for a couple of days and then kind of leave it for a few months. Next to it is the architectural model I'm making. 1st century Greco-Roman temple, the Temple of Nairi in Armenia. Beside that, I have a paint spray booth, which I don't really use. And this is an enclosure for my rock tumbler, which I made. The link is below to the video. This turned out really good. Can I turn this on? How do I turn this on? So when you close the booth, you can barely hear it. It's really loud. Anyways, rock tumbler. On this wall, we just have some stuff, speaker wires. There's a fog machine, resin, primers, wall warts, diorama supplies, little makeup. It's like a Halloween costume makeup. Art supplies, steamer. And down here, we just have all my paints, my spray paints. When you open that container, you'll get the fumes of the spray paint. So that's why I keep it sealed. So that's a tour of my workshop. Hope you enjoyed it. It's a small space, yet it's jam-packed. So, I'll be making some future videos. Click the like button and please subscribe. It really helps with, keeping me going. Anyways, stay safe and we'll see you guys soon. Bye.